menu is gonna have some beautiful beef meatballs with a homemade roasted tomato sauce. So I'm gonna get Ren to give me a hand. We're gonna make a fresh tomato sauce for our meatballs. So we're gonna get a couple of things going at once, but this is a sauce because we need to bake these ingredients. We have our oven preheated behind us at a high temperature. We're just gonna be cutting the tomatoes into chunks. And the reason is we are going to be putting these through the blender. So just in this size, Ren, that's all we need. And so I'm gonna have her, perfect, she's fast, love it. We're gonna take some onions and we're gonna rough chop those as well. And this is what's gonna go into the sauce. I'm also gonna add a little bit of garlic, and I'm putting probably in this recipe about 6 nice big cloves of garlic. These are gonna roast in the oven. So she's got the tomatoes perfectly in here, and then we're gonna add those onions in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna some beautiful olive oil that's gonna go on top. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some salt, pepper, and a little bit of seasoning. And because this is gonna be the sauce for our meatballs, you can always use a can of sauce or a jar of sauce or buy some homemade sauce from a local supplier. There's lots of those, but this is a very easy one for you to be able to do at home. We have our salt, pepper. She's got the onions going on this. And what I have here is a little bit of dried oregano. And I love oregano.
Oh, that's so good.
It's one of my favorite herbs. It's the herb that feels like, I feel like it smells like sauce.
Crying.
She's crying from cutting onions. Good job, Bren.
Oh, yeah.
That's usually me. So I love having that extra person here to catch that one. So we're gonna put these into the oven. The oven's at 390, and these are gonna cook for about 30 minutes. So right now in a frying pan, my mother is cooking some minced garlic and diced onions. We'll put a little bit of salt and pepper. We're gonna cook those down because they're gonna go into the meat for the meatballs. So as we said, we've got some beautiful fresh ground beef here. I'm gonna use 1 egg. And I wanna make sure that I mix that egg up a little bit because then it'll have a better consistency. So we're gonna add that into the meatballs. What I'm gonna be using inside of the meatballs is just a few basic seasonings for me. I always like cracked pepper, and we're gonna put some salt. I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh seasoning into my meatballs. I often use fresh basil if I have it, which I don't have any fresh basil today. So I'm gonna use a little bit of dried basil.
Yeah.
The sauce in the oven already has the oregano, so I'm adding some basil into this. And then I'm also gonna add some fresh thyme, or some dried thyme, which again, it's earthy, right?
Oh,
Thyme
it smells so good.
is a wonderful seasoning. So I'm putting about a tablespoon of each of those seasonings. We're just gonna get this mixed through. But one of the other things I'm gonna add, and I use it to help absorb a bit of the egg, and I also find it gives my meatballs a great consistency and flavor. I'm gonna add 2 other ingredients. So Michelle's measuring hand. See, I'm just gonna put about 1/4 of a cup.
Okay.
So not enough that you feel the meatball has a filler, but enough that it gives the meatballs just a little bit of consistency. I've got a little bit of mozzarella cheese. And I'm gonna add about 1/4 of a cup of mozzarella cheese. So there we go. We're gonna mix those ingredients really well together, and then we're gonna form those into our meatballs. The only other ingredient that's gonna go into the meat is gonna be the onions and garlic that my mother is cooking down a little bit. So in this particular recipe, I don't use a raw onion in the meatball. There we go, look, she has them cooked up perfectly. So we're not caramelizing these, we just have a nice cook through. And what I'm gonna do is, so some warm ingredients are coming in, Ren. And then we're gonna form those into meatballs. These we're gonna do a slow sear on, so we're gonna give these back over to the ladies. We were getting the sauce ready for our meatballs. You see the tomatoes have cooked down, and we're just gonna put all of these into the blender. And let's show everybody the beautiful meatballs. Look at the size of them. The smell is sensational right now. They are still gonna need about 10 more minutes, and this is where the magic really happens. So we're gonna pour that beautiful sauce, and we're gonna put those back in, but now they're gonna be in that beautiful roasted and fresh tomato sauce.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
how's that?
Oh, looks so good and smells so good.
Where I'm gonna hold
Thank
these
you.
up so we can see. Look at the meatballs. They're still bubbling as well. I feel like I'm in Morocco opening a tagine.